What is up, everybody? It's Larry back with you, and I wanted to talk to you today about, obviously, like you can tell from the title, a very awesome flip phone. This is the Kyocera, the Dura XV Extreme. This is a flip phone. Now, if you're like me and you're old school, you remember this. The satisfaction of hanging up a call by closing the phone was just amazing. Like, especially when you're pissed off at an ex-girlfriend or something, or your girlfriend or whoever, and you just gave them that nope, just click. Like, way better than hitting the end button. I'm sorry for you young cats, you don't even know what that's about. I'm telling you, flip and close the phone when you're mad, no satisfaction like it. But this phone has some more features than any other flip phone that I've talked about before. This is a Verizon Exclusive. They were nice enough to send this out for me to test. I've had it for a few months now, and what I've done with it is I've kept it in my everyday carry bag. Let's just talk about a little bit what this phone brings you that even the modern smartphone doesn't. So my daily driver, as many of you know, is an iPhone 11 Pro Max. And as great and as much as I love that phone, it's fragile. And what this phone brings to you is almost an indestructible device. And that's why I like having this with my everyday carry kit. I have a SIM card in here. It's not my main line, but this battery will last days and days, whereas my iPhone lasts maybe a day. We all know how that is. So it's nice to have another device that just lives in my bag, that if something was to happen to me, whether I'm driving my car and I break down, or I'm out, if I'm hiking or something, and I want to get away from what everything else that comes with a smartphone brings, whether it's social media or emails or phone, just all those things, and I want to take what essentially could be called a burner phone just out with me hiking or out with the family, or if I'm fishing or doing something where I just want to be away. I still have a communication line if something is to go wrong, but I'm also essentially unplugged from the net to where I don't have to worry about not even people distracting me, but me distracting myself by picking up my phone and like a zombie going through TikTok and Instagram and my emails and just things that don't need to be done when I need to be more focused and in the moment. So if we look around this phone, they have actually some modern features. Like this charges via USB Type-C, but over here you have a little cover, you have your USB Type-C port up there. You actually have a headphone jack and mic, which can be used as like a headset. This is really aimed towards like an industrial work type situation. There's a lot of accessories that you can get for this. You can see on the back we have these gold prong areas, and I'm familiar with this one because of my industry, the industrial automation industry that I work in. We use this type of thing for some different connectors often, but it's also very reminiscent of the iPad Pro, where it uses the smart connectors on the back to get power or connect like the smart case or things like that, the type covers to it to get functionality. You can also see that there's a locking mechanism on the back to get to the battery and SD card and all that stuff. You have a volume rocker on the side, and then you actually have a dedicated button over here. And if you have someone else with this style of phone, like I said, again, if you have this in a company setting or something like that, and you have multiple people with that, very reminiscent of the old Nextel TwoWays. Again, I'm an old head, so I remember these things. I had one when I landscaped back in the day. We all had one, different crews, and you can actually just click this, and it's like a two-way radio, so you don't have to go through the whole hassle of calling someone or texting or anything like that. You just hit the button, chirp chirp if it was a Nextel, whatever, but you can reach out to that person and get to them right away via two-way instead of cellular. Now you have a camera on what is the front of the flip. You actually have a flash on there as well. Look, this phone is not going to be getting you Instagram quality photos. You know that, I know that. That is not what this phone is for. But if you do need to in a pinch, like I said, if you're trying to disconnect and you just want some type of, you catch a big fish, you don't want to be that dude who's like, oh yeah, I caught this big fish, but you can't show it off. You take a little picture with this, it's going to be low quality, but it's going to be evidence that you actually are not BSing somebody. It is what it is. So I sort of jumped around, but sort of going around the phone again, on the top you have an external, like a speakerphone button, so you can press that to get that going right away. You have a call list key. Those are like hard keys at the top, so you can get to them right away and easily if you have gloves on or your hands are dirty or something like that. There's an SOS key on the right side of the phone, which is, you know, orange reddish, so and it's recessed a little bit, but it has some knurl on it, so you can feel for it if you need it. Also, that flash you can use as a flashlight. Of course, it's probably more what you're going to be using it for than anything else. You have 2 large speakers right on the front underneath the keypad, so that's nice. The keypad and all that is pretty straightforward. You have your navigation keys, your center key, which is essentially like okay or yes to go into different things. So battery cover in the back, you have a micro SD card slot, and then you have the SIM card slot like we talked about before. Battery's removable, so, you know, old school. If you, like I said, if you're a company or a business with a few of these different phones, you could actually have multiple batteries. So if you're out and about or doing something, you can actually just swap a battery instead of plugging in to charge it. So if you need some juice right away and you have a spare battery, you drop that bad boy in. As I mentioned before, as it's sort of being indestructible, you have very large rubber corners on this. There's rubber along the front. It's shock proof, it's drop proof. So to give you just a few little specifications on this, as I talked about at the beginning, that the battery lasts forever or days and days. In standby mode, the battery lasts 18.3 days. So like I said, to have this, obviously for business and stuff like that, but for me, for a personal use case, I'm gonna put this in my bag that I carry with me all the time, but as an emergency phone. Would it be overkill for something like that? Yes, but it is nice that if it lives in my bag and it gets dropped or smashed or crushed or whatever, I don't have to worry about that being an issue because of how sturdy and rugged this phone is. And I can guarantee that it's gonna have battery life at least for half of the month. So, I mean, that part right there is just amazing. Talk time on it's about 9.5 hours, so if you are yapping on it for that long, but again, the standby time on this is exponentially more than any other smartphone or any kind of phone that's out there, so that's a big plus. You also have the camera that I talked about is a 5 megapixel. So like I said, not gonna be the biggest quality, but it is gonna get you a little bit of data, information if you need it, if you're somewhere and you just need a quick pic. And overall, the one thing that really, like I talked about this thing being rugged, it's IP68 certified, so you're gonna get waterproof, dustproof. So that's just, you know, and like I said, the shock proof, the drop proof, all that, you can feel it when you hold this phone. There's heft to it, it's substantial, it feels really good. I mean, it's not like it's a huge brick, it is large, it is thick. Like I said, I love this phone, and I see a lot of use cases for it in like an industry like my 9 to 5 where we build automated machines and we're around a lot of grinding and dust and welding and just different automation and different things where you're up on ladders, you're down, you know, underneath a machine. There's a lot of use cases for something like this to where you could sort of keep your regular phone in your toolbox or on your desk or whatever you're doing, and then just have this in your pocket and not have to worry about it getting destroyed or damaged or anything like that. If you guys have any questions about this phone, leave it down in the comments section below. What do you guys think about something like this? Do you see a use case for this in your life, or do you know somebody that could use this? I think we all know somebody that either one uses a flip phone still or could use something a lot more rugged because they run around with a smashed screen all the time. Anyways, that's gonna be it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, you can hit the thumbs up down below. If you've yet to subscribe, you can do that as well. I'll leave a link for this phone specifically down in the description below so you guys can check it out for yourself. Big thanks for them for sending this out so I could check it out and share it with you. That's gonna be it. Thank you guys for watching, and I will talk to you in the next one.